Amp Media Production presents Gypsy Soul, your one-stop shop for letting out your inner gypsy. Join Denise Marsh as she brings on a variety of guests to share their artistic vision with the world.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Gypsy Soul. I'm Denise Marsh and I'm your host, and I'm very happy to be with you today. So how is everyone doing? How is everyone doing after the eclipse? Any big changes for you? I actually got to see it. It was very exciting, probably one of the most exciting things that I've seen in a long time. So it made me think about how precious life is, how things happen so fast and things happen in a fleeting moment. It made me think of how we have to not take things for granted, how we have to give into more opportunities because life is here and then it's not. So it's time to turn to our gypsy side, and it's time to embrace new opportunities. And with that, I wanted to talk about my new book again because I needed you guys to vote on that, but that's okay. We can vote on that again another time. The eclipse made me think of past experiences. It made me think of people that I cared about. And it made me very nostalgic. So I wanted to share a poem with you that's actually going to be in my next book. And it's called Carried. And it's about sweetness and nostalgia and the feeling of being carried. Remember when we were carried when we were younger? Or we have kids and we carry them and just the look on their faces when they're being carried? There's nothing like that. So one day I saw a family and I saw a dad carrying a little girl and I saw the look on her face and she was so happy. And I thought, I remember when I was carried. I remember when I was little and I went to see a play. My father was in my life then, and I went to see a Dracula play, and I think I fell asleep at the end and he carried me home. And just that feeling of being carried, it's such a beautiful feeling. You never let it go. No matter how old you get, you always want to be carried. So I'd like to share that poem with you. And it's on my phone, so give me 1 second to get it. So it's called Carried. And hang on. We've all been there. Babies in mom's arms, piggyback rides on dad's shoulders, when love felt safe, flowing warmth and sweet scents, arms wrapped lovingly, tight grips of safety. When did we stop being carried, or why? We grew up. We were too big, cumbersome, heavy, mature, appropriate social etiquette. Being carried is for babies, brides. Love was sweet then. Things were gentle. Roses were ripe and pure. When do we become too big to be carried? Being carried. I miss that, don't you? So if you like that poem, that's a sneak peek to the next book that I'm working on. It's going to be on self-reflection and connection, and I will give you bits and pieces of that. Not the real thing just yet, but you guys still have to help me vote on a title. So we'll get back to that another time. But while I'm on the subject of sweetness and nostalgia, I wanted to tell you that today's guest is extremely sweet. She is the owner and creator of the Chocolate Spectrum, a business in Jupiter that promotes autism awareness. And her name is Valerie Herskowitz, hard to say with the microphone. She'll be joining us to talk all about how she got started with her business, to show you some sweet treats, and you might even be ordering some sweet treats when we're done. So we will return with Valerie after a commercial break. Don't leave. You might even want to get something sweet in the meantime. Hang tight, and we will see you in a few minutes.
Hey there, have you heard of the new show Gypsy Soul? It's hosted by the one and only Denise Marsh. Listen in as she helps you release your inner gypsy with the best in South Florida, with plenty of special guests, with their own talents to inspire your inner gypsy. Tune in every other Thursday on your preferred streaming platform.
So we're waiting for Valerie to sign on. But while we're waiting, I want you to think of some of the sweet treats that you like to eat. Are you more of a milk chocolate person, more dark chocolate, more fruity chocolate? I know that I love milk chocolate. I wish that I liked dark chocolate because it's actually very good for you. But no such thing with me. I like the sweeter. So I guess I'm not going to be burning any calories for the chocolate I eat. Here she is, the one and only Valerie. And this is my first time meeting you, almost in
Hi, how
person.
are you? Nice to see you.
Hi. I'm hungry just looking at you, thinking of the chocolate.
Well, you said I was sweet. I don't know if everybody would agree with you, but I'll take that as a compliment.
You know, I am so sorry. Is it Valeria? Or is it
No,
Valerie?
it's just with an E.
Well,
Valerie.
we made you Valeria, so hope you
Oh,
like
all
it.
right. More exotic.
Yeah, we made you more exotic, and can you lower your camera? Is there a way to lower the camera a little bit? There you go. You're beautiful. We need to see you. There you go.
Not
So
the greatest lighting. I'm in my house right now.
you're looking good. So
Thank you.
Valerie had asked me if I could bring some of the chocolate on the show, and I was actually laughing because it's pretty much almost gone. I was tutoring and I shared it with the girl I
Wow.
was tutoring. There's like 5 left, so that's how
Okay.
fast I eat chocolate. So couldn't do that. Sorry, guys, and definitely another time. But I actually one day, and I do scroll a lot. I was scrolling through. I don't remember if it was Facebook or it was social media, and I saw it to the chocolate spectrum. And I am a elementary school teacher, and I was thinking, wait a minute, I wonder if this has to do with, being on the spectrum. There are kids that aren't. It's called on the spectrum, kids with autism. I wonder if she's some connection to that. And she is going to share with us where she is in that whole situation. So there's some wonderful pictures that you can see of the workers making the chocolate. Here's her contact information. She's in Jupiter, but she does take online orders. We'll talk about that more in a few minutes. You will definitely want to order chocolate from her. The chocolate is not just delicious, it's beautiful. It was too
Thank
pretty to eat,
you.
but I did. I ate it
Thank
anyway.
you. Well,
So
you have to enjoy food not just by the taste, but by the presentation.
absolutely.
And therefore we really spend a lot of time making sure that there's beauty in every little bite.
Well, it was gorgeous chocolate.
Thank you.
I mean, absolutely gorgeous chocolate. And I still have a couple of pieces left that I will be savoring. So, Valerie, can you tell us a little bit about your business, what your motivation was for starting the company, how many people you employ, and you've got the floor.
Okay, so we started in 2013, and I had, just letting you know, I had no big vision to have a chocolate store in my life. That was not a plan of any sort. Um, I, like you, have been an educator. I'm a speech pathologist by trade, and I worked for many, many years as a speech pathologist and ended up moving on to teaching at the university and things like that. But I have always had the need and the ability to match my personal life and my professional life. And the reason that I say that is I do have a son who's now 33 years old, and he has autism. He himself is on the spectrum. And so throughout, whether I was a speech pathologist or now, of course, in the chocolate business, he's always been a really big light that illuminates the path of what I'm doing. And so one day, I ended up moving up to, my practice was down in Broward County. And then one day my husband and I decided to move up to Palm Beach County. And I got more involved with teaching at the university and things like that. And I had some time on my hands for the first time in my adult life that I could remember. And I decided I wanted to pursue training in the pastry arts. And that was just like a bucket list thing. It wasn't anything I was looking at for a new career by any means. So I did go ahead and I got training, and I fell in love with chocolate. And at the same time, and this is going back actually more than 10 years, as my training started in 2010, my son with autism, who is severe, he doesn't have mild autism, he really does have severe autism, had never really shown a big interest in anything. But now that I was in the kitchen and practicing my new pastry skills, he started coming in and looking like he was a little interested. And this was back in 2010. And I started making chocolates with him and other pastries too, cupcakes, cookies, baked cakes, all kinds of things like that. And he just loved it. And it was like a little light bulb went off in my head. And I said to myself, oh, isn't this interesting? He was still in high school. And I ended up deciding to start a little volunteer job for myself over in his high school. And I would go over there once or twice a month, and we had a little baking club, and we would be making stuff in his class. But then the big day happened, and this is one of the days that's one of the most fearful days in the life of a parent who has a child with special needs, and that's called high school graduation. And the reason that it's so scary is because there's not a whole lot of options out there for what many of us have to pick from for our kids to do after high school. And this is going back now to 2013. And whatever options we have now didn't exist then. So I looked and looked and looked for several years for things before graduation. But in May of 2013, I was at a big zero. I had nothing. And I had just finished and got my certifications from chocolatier training. Blake was still making chocolate with me. And his older brother, my other son said to me, why don't you get something going with a little business for Blake? So I said, all right. I just thought it would be something out of the house. So we started making some chocolates in the house, and we would sell them at maybe shows, farmers market, things like that. And after just a few months, I started getting other people that were in the same boat as me and said, can I bring my child by? And he's graduated high school and he doesn't have anything to do and he would love that. Well, as time went on, I got more and more people coming to my house to make chocolate. And pretty soon we were up to about 14 people coming to make chocolate at my house in my home kitchen. And like I said, we were selling it. And wasn't making a ton of money, but it was keeping my son somewhat busy. But it got to the point where if we were going to continue this endeavor, we needed to either go a little bigger or forget it, because it was just undoable at this point to keep it going in my house. So we started looking around for property, and in 2016, we rented out a space in Jupiter, Florida, which is the northern parts of Palm Beach, and we opened up our shop and commercial kitchen. It's a real cute little place. If you are familiar with Jupiter, it's on Indiantown Road, and it's really fun. And we do quite a few things there. Not only do we have making chocolate, but we have expanded our training program. We have, since 2017, we now include teen students into our program. So I decided at that point that the adults were doing great, and that's our main focus, is adults who are out of school. But I thought that there was a lot of good we could do with transitioning teens, or teens that were getting to the point where they were almost graduating. So we did start that program for them. They come several times. They come once or twice a week for 3 hours. They work in our shop alongside our staff. Our staff is composed of mostly individuals who themselves are on the spectrum and have been with me pretty much since the beginning, since 2013 or 14. And
Allison,
they help.
you're such an inspiration.
Thank you.
I want to listen to you more. I just wanted to jump in and say that I didn't know that this month was Autism Awareness Month. So you're doing so much for so many. I don't think you even knew that when you started. You just watched it grow, and it's just blossoming.
People used to say, "What are your goals?" And I would say, just let's see what the universe brings my way. And that's really how I've gone. It hasn't been easy. It's a challenging job to run a training program, run a manufacturing business, a retail business, a wholesale business. It's quite a bit, and we make a lot of chocolate. There's a lot of chocolate that gets made in our place and gets sold, but we are in a there's a lot of bills. So we never quite make, we do go for, we get grants for the training program, donations. Myself and my family do not take compensation for anything. It's a labor of love for us. And, but I've committed to it, and we're looking to expand. We also reached out to our community at large, and now we have, since I want to say it's been about a year and a half now, we accept teen students to come in that do not have disabilities from the community to be volunteers. And they come in and they work alongside our students that do have disabilities. And I love that. It's called inclusion, and it's just a very important program that there's benefits on both sides. Obviously, the students that have special needs get extra help, but the students that are what we call typically developing, they're getting a whole education on what it's like to be in the world of special needs or people that are what we call neurodivergent. So
It's a win-win situation.
yes.
And I'm very familiar with inclusion, being an elementary school teacher. I think what you're doing is amazing. I think that on both sides that the kids are learning, and they're learning to appreciate people with differences. And I think that the workers that do have autism are learning how to work in a mainstream type of environment once they join. Does your son want to go and be a pastry chef now? Is he looking to pursue that?
Well, he kind of is. This is what he does. Like I said, he's more on the severe end. He is nonverbal, though he does use communication strategies such as a machine and sign language, but he is severe. He does have some aggressive and self-injurious behaviors, but he comes into the shop every day. He's excited when I pick him up. He's jumping, all happy to come to work. And he really does, over the last 10 years, has really been able to get a lot accomplished. And he works. He's very attentive at work. That's the interesting thing. When he has a certain amount of work that has to get done, and he always works with one of our staff, and he doesn't stop. If there's a certain amount of work on the table that he knows that's what has to get done for the day, and he does get everything done. So yeah, he does really well. We feel that no matter what is the level of the individual, we can figure out some way of making them feel purposeful.
Well, you fueled a passion, you fed the passion, and now it keeps going. And it's created something very beautiful in his life, and it's an inspiration to others. And I think our audience wants to know how we can get your chocolate. Do you have some contact information?
So we can get you chocolate. If you live in the vicinity, in the Palm Beach area, where you just come into our shop and we have stuff. But we have the most amazing selection. Our shop is small, so there's only a certain amount of product that we have out on display. But and you can see our address here, but you can also see that we have a shopping cart. So we ship everywhere in the US. We ship nationally, and you may say, how is that possible? But with chocolate, but we know how to ship and get it to you in perfect condition.
And it's cold when you get it. It was cold.
Oh yes, you did get it cold.
Freezer bags.
Right, I forgot. So if I could ship in this Florida sun
80
to
degrees.
you, and here's our Mother's Day. Some of our Mother's
That is
Day, you can see
gorgeous.
the pretty, the ones with the little squares. Those are filled chocolates, and then the other one, the one that has the round balls, we call those truffles. And in the shop we have 25 different flavors. But for Mother's Day, this is our Mother's Day selection, and you can, all they have to do is go online and they can order it. I will tell you that Mother's Day is the holiday of the year that we do our big push. You may think that should be Christmas, but Christmas is pretty easy for us, and we don't have to do any pushes for Christmas. People buy, buy, buy. But Mother's Day is really the holiday we ask for support from the community at large to support our program, and just remind people that every sale goes towards our program. Like I said, we don't take profit ourselves. And so you can always make a donation, but we much prefer if you buy our chocolate for a mom you know, maybe yourself, and support our program that way for Mother's Day.
Well, I know that when I got the chocolate, I'll be honest with you, I was very worried that it would be melted. You know, I had a dance lesson before, then I got home and I saw the chocolate waiting. I got very excited. And I hurried up to open it. I said, it's going to be melted. It's going to be melted. And it wasn't. It had little
Good.
freezer
Yay.
bags with it. It was in perfect condition, unflawed. It was absolutely delicious. And it's
Oh, I'm
so
so glad.
intricate. The little, not decals, but the little designs that you have on it. How do you get those designs on there like that so perfectly?
So one of the things that my therapy self was able to do is I had to create product that I knew people with special needs would be able to do. And we do all kinds of things, but the one that you saw, the little squares that have the decorations on it are actually chocolate transfers. And so now we have one of our initiatives for the 2023-24 year. We had two initiatives. One of them was hand painted chocolates. So we have taught the students how to hand paint the chocolates themselves, which has been a lot of fun. We do have those. And our second initiative for this period is we now make cakes. So you can order cakes from us. They're very decorative, but they're more a lot of the decorations are made from chocolate.
You make
And
mocha cake?
we make
Mocha?
any kind of cake you want.
Oh, you might be in business again.
Mocha is I grew up with mocha cake. Okay. My mother was German. And so everything was about mocha cake. So if you ask my family, what's Valerie's favorite cake? They'll say mocha cake.
In
My husband,
Brooklyn, we had mocha cake. We had a bakery that we loved so much that went out of business. They were there for about, I'm not even kidding, 60 years. And you cannot get cake like that here. And mocha
Oh.
was my favorite. And there's nothing, I know you can go to the supermarket, you get good cake, but it's not the cake that I grew up with. So now you're making me think I might have to put in an order with you for maybe a Mother's Day present for
yours would
myself.
be a special order. We do specialize in chocolate cakes, but we can always put in obviously, because we're the chocolate spectrum. And if you look and you'll see, again, I had to design a cake that I knew I could teach my students and staff to do. And so we don't do like the intricate little buttercream flowers and things like that. We do use some buttercream, but most of our cakes are decorated what we call rustic but elegant, and we use a modern use of chocolates. So you'll see, if you look at them, you'll see they have like pieces coming out of the cakes with chocolate and designs on the chocolate. So we do it's really nice. And we even have a flourless cake that we do for gluten-free or people, and we're making a lot of those right now for
Perfect.
people for Passover.
Yeah, but Valerie, I'm so happy that you came on the show. I mean, it
Thank
sounds
you.
like you're a forever teacher. Like you were a teacher, but you're still a teacher. You're doing great things. And
Yes, thank
you're expanding,
appreciate
and I think you'll have a lot of people buying the chocolates, and I think you have one already thinking about
Oh,
getting the
thank you.
cake.
Well, I really appreciate you having me on. I really do.
This is a pleasure, and this is something new for me that I'm learning. And with being that you're giving opportunities for people that may not have it, you're doing wonderful things. So I wanted to
thank
thank you so much for coming on the show. I know you'll get a lot of business, or a lot more business than you already have, and I'll definitely be contacting you in the future.
All right. Well, thanks again.
Thank you so much. You have a great day, and thank you
Bye-bye,
so. Keep it
everyone.
sweet.
I'll try.
So with that, I just wanted to thank everyone again for being part of Gypsy Soul. You make my life sweet. Chocolate or not, you make my life sweet every other week when I get to be, and I get to be with you, and I get to do Gypsy Soul, and I get to let my Gypsy Soul flow. You make my life sweet, and I can never say thank you enough for that. Keep thinking about the title for the book. I hope that the poem touched you, and I will see you guys in another Thursday. I hope you have a wonderful day. Keep thriving. Keep your Gypsy Soul alive and breathing, and keep thriving. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Gypsy Soul. Make sure to stop by next time for another enlightening show. A show that was produced by Ant Media Productions and hosted by Denise Marsh.